Hey folks, it's George Leoniak back with new geometry and thankful to be here. So today we're going to do something a little different. Normally I've been working with the polyhedra a lot, but today we're going to work with showing you some different types of star patterns that can be created from the golden circle templates, as I call them, which is taking a golden circles, meaning that if this is a large circle, let's just say it was 1 inch, the smaller one would be 0.618 inches. And the intersection of those two circles creates all these nodal points to create, at least in this example, the 60 points, 60 rays perfectly around the circumference of this inner circle. So there's a few different examples of this that I'd like to show you throughout this short presentation here. So let's just take a look at that and jump right into it. So, as you know, the golden circle templates is something that I've just really gravitated to, enjoyed working with them, discovering, figuring out all the things that are in them. These are the three top examples. These three at the top here are the ones that I generally work the most with. We have the kind of two-fold symmetry, the 3 and the 5-fold here. And then basically what I did here is, I just ratcheted them over once. So we have a 45-degree turn here to create this pattern, a 30-degree turn here, and a 18-degree turn here, and it creates these various mandala types of shapes. Now, each of them, of course, have the smaller and larger 5 proportion circles, but I'll share a little bit more on that in a moment. Now, the really cool thing about this is, yes, I love working with the polyhedra, the star polyhedra. I have a video, please check that one out. It's on the 4 Kepler poinsett star polyhedra from 3 different views. And these are the 3 main views that I just showed you at the top of that other previous image. And these are the 4 different star polyhedra. Now, of course, this isn't a video about these. I'm just basically pointing you in the direction that you can do a lot more with this golden circle templates that I'm about to show you. This is just another way to interact with it and just basically kind of revel in the mystery and the amazing pattern that exists here. For instance, let's just go over a little bit of the language here that I'll be using. Basically, we're going to talk about these lines of symmetry. For instance, this pattern here is the most basic and simple. It's just 2 lines of symmetry. And the way I'm referring to lines of symmetry here is that these lines will go through the circle of the red circles here and the blue circles. So we got 2 lines here, we've got 3 lines over here, and then we've got the 5 lines going here. These are the kind of next version out where we have 4 lines, which are giving us, basically the 8 directions around. But this is basically 4 lines. We've got 10 lines over here. So that's this ratcheted 18 degrees. And then if we move this over 30 degrees, we'll come up with the 12 lines of symmetry. So this one I've been calling the golden circle seed of life. Basically, if we've got all these Kepler poinsett star polyhedra, that means we already have all the platonic solids and many other forms that are contained within these patterns. And you can check out some of my other videos to describe how those platonic solids and other forms are in these patterns. But this is the one kind of unifying thing between each of those different views, depending on the line of symmetry. It doesn't really matter much because we're all going to start off at the same place with the vesica shape, the vesica Pisces shape, which is going to give us an opportunity to create this golden line here, the golden cut, golden proportion. It's going to cut down here, and that's the only step you really need to do in order to create a circle that is in golden proportion with this larger circle here. So in this instance, let's just pretend that this is a 1-inch circle. Here, this line would cut this line right here, giving us a chance to use our compass to draw this golden circle in the middle, which would be 0.618 inches. Such a simple maneuver, and all these patterns that I just showed you at the beginning are all basically starting off, or they are starting off with the same technique. And then I'm just using traditional sacred geometry techniques to just draw 6, 4, or 5 or 10 circles around them here, as you can see. All right, so let's just take a look at each of these now, because this is really where the magic happens. I wasn't really expecting this to happen, and it took me quite a while to figure out that these little nodal points were the phi circles. The inner golden circle is intersecting this smaller red circle in the middle. So those are the phi proportion circles. And if we're zipping through there, it's giving us some new points where the blue and the red lines are interacting with the middle. And amazingly, what that does is divide our inner circle into 20 vertices and gives us 10 lines of symmetry through this just perfectly. So 18-degree angles are created within this first pattern. So we've just divided our circumference of this inner circle into 20 segments. Now, let's just go through, because there's going to be a similar pattern here. We're going to continue on with this. So the golden circle here, when we go to the 3 lines of symmetry pattern, which I call the golden seed of life, golden circle seed of life. This here now, the beauty of this is that the red and blue intersecting circles on the inner circle will now give us 30 points, perfectly 30 points around the outside of this, giving us the 15 lines of symmetry and giving us an inner angle of 12 degrees around the inside. To me, this is just a kind of celebration of the magic that you can get this separation here, because basically now we've got pentagons and hexagons showing up throughout this pattern. Okay, so let's skip over to the 5 lines of symmetry, which is really the basic pentagonal, pentagon, 5-pointed star symmetry. Here, really what happens is interesting, because when we do the golden circles around, the red circles, you could see that they all intersect the inner circle, the phi base circle on the inside, and they create the 10 points perfectly to give you 10-fold symmetry on the inside. But now we skip over to the outside of the circle, the blue circle, the outer circle, the 1-inch circle compared to the 0.618 circle. And now the larger blue circles are defining the outer points along here. And also this will divide the circumference of this large blue circle into 30 vertices along that and 15 lines of symmetry. So it's interesting that the 5 lines of symmetry and the 3 lines of symmetry basically are doing the same thing, although here it does it on the inside, and the 5 lines of symmetry, it's doing it on the outer circle. And we'll see that reflected once again coming up over here. So now we're ratcheting. This is the 2 lines of symmetry that have gone to 4 lines of symmetry. So this is the 8-direction model. We've got 8 directions around us, 45-degree angle between these. Well, because we had 20 in the first 20 vertices around the first one. Well, now we've just rotated. So now we've got 40 vertices around here. And now we're separating a 9-degree angle between each of these. And this gives us this 20 lines of symmetry throughout there. You know, I wasn't really expecting to see just these interactions of the outer and inner circles to just divide the circle into these perfect segments, but it really is quite cool to see how that works out. And it does it for this one as well. Now, of course, we're going to go from the 6 lines of symmetry through this. So this is got 12 vertices. So this also, you know, people who are interested in the Cathara grid and those teachings, this would be the, what do they call it? The Lotus, eternal Lotus of life pattern, which is basically 6 circles around. And here what I've done basically is just added the phi circles to the inside, and that will create on the inner phi circle, it will create this 60 segments all the way around that are being divided where the red and blue circles are intersecting the central red circle. So we've divided the inner segments into 60 degrees, and we have 60 vertices around here and 30 lines of symmetry on this one. And let's just do the 10 lines of symmetry, right? So we're going to divide this into 20 segments with the 10 lines that are going through. We're back to that pentagon symmetry here. And now, just like previously, when we're going to the pentagonal view, all of a sudden, instead of all the action happening on the inside circle, we do get our 20 points showing up here on the inner circle, but now we skip to the outside and it's a little easier to see. You can see that we've got the two dots here and here are connecting to the blue circles that are intersecting the large blue circle. So once again, that's pretty neat to see how that flip-flops when we go from the 6 lines of symmetry to the 10 lines of symmetry. Basically, this is a hexagon perspective, and this is the pentagon perspective in the next image here. We're basically getting the same number of vertices showing up in that with 6-degree angles, except we're just jumping from the inner circle in the hexagon perspective out over to the decagon perspective here on this one. You know, we're on the larger circle. So 2 ways to kind of come about that. And it's neat to see that the 2 lines of symmetry and 2 and 4 lines of symmetry, essentially those, they're kind of in the middle. They give us the 20 vertices and the 40 vertices. So here's just a quick look at, you know, some of the star patterns or the star patterns that we have. This is the 30-point star that can be created, the 20-point star and the 30-point star here for those different lines of symmetry. And then, of course, we've got the 60-point star mirrored by the 60-point star on the hexagon, pentagon view. And in the middle, we've got the 40-point star. This is a close-up of the 30-point star here with the 5 lines of symmetry as it's constructed. And this is the 40-point star here of the 4 lines of symmetry, basically off of that 8-direction design. So here is just the last picture I showed you in the beginning. Yes, you can do this all with your compass. It's not going to be 100% perfect, or, you know, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but it does give you the ability to divide this relatively accurate into the 6-degree segments of the 60 points around the outer circle. And this one was done with the hexagon view. So we have the 12 petals around it to create the intersection points of those golden circles with the inner golden circle. So that's the real thing that I wanted to highlight with this video, is just step away from the polyhedra, celebrate these different golden circle patterns, look at them where they intersect with the inner circles. And this just is a given. It's just part of the design of these golden circle patterns. So once again, these patterns are relatively easy to draw. It starts off with that Vesica Pisces, with that golden circle, with the golden cut that comes along, and we get the inner circle. And then we just build out from there with the seed of life, or the 4 directions or 8 directions, or the 5 or 10 direction models. So, you know, these things I'm sharing with different people. I've got a Patreon set up, working on the techniques of drawing these things. I've got my apprenticeship coming up as well. All those are under KNEW, Geometry, New Geometry. If you like what you're seeing here, please subscribe to this channel. As well, I've got a Facebook group called New Geometers, KNEW Geometers. Check that out as well and join over there if you want to continue with the conversation with some other interesting geometers that are getting into this. So thanks again for watching. Much love and appreciation for being here, and have a great rest of your week.